Anything on your brother's behalf?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
Let's talk to Al Garrett's side. Al, would you talk to us for a second? Noted attorney and knows all about the courtroom happenings. What did that question say to you, Al?
Well, the question went to the heart of what is reasonable force. And their instruction says, in order to determine reasonable force, you look at the seriousness of the crime, the threat to the officer that may have been posed by the suspect. You look to whether the suspect was fleeing from arrest or resisting arrest, and you look to whether the officer contributed to the dangerousness of the situation. So those four factors are already in front of the jury. And the jury was also told that there's no fleeing felon rule. So you have to balance the reasonableness of an officer using deadly force against the need to arrest somebody or to stop them permanently. And in this case, where somebody is leaving only from a traffic stop, that balancing comes out in favor of not using deadly force, in my view.
That's a lot to come out of that one question.
That one question was
going through their mind.
Well, those are all the factors that go to that same point. That one question doesn't determine the ultimate answer here. All four factors together do.
Why couldn't the judge answer that?
Because it's all what I just told you is already in the instruction too.
Right, that's what I thought.
So the judge never repeats one part of an instruction.
Al, what does it say to you?
The judge always sends you back to the entire instruction.
How significant is this, do you think, Al, the question they had in terms of where the jury is right now after 22 hours?
I don't know. I think they're still weighing all the factors, and in my view, they're not looking at the most important one, if that's what's hanging them up.
And what do you think that is? I mean, just murder, the intentional taking.
No, the most important one is that there was no threat to the officer. He could have just stepped back, and the officer contributed to the dangerousness of the situation. And it wasn't a serious crime. So those things should weigh in favor of a reasonable officer would not have used deadly force.
Well, something apparently is sticking with them. I mean, if it were that simple, we wouldn't be here right now. So, I mean, what we don't know is what is hanging them up. I know that one of the experts said just the opposite, that Sam DuBuse created a dangerous situation by not doing what Tenzing told him to do. I guess there's really no way of knowing.
Sam DuBuse was not trained. Sam DuBuse is just a civilian, and the officer is trained. And one of the things he was trained is never to reach into a car. So I don't know what's holding up the jury. All I can tell you is that the four factors they were instructed to weigh pretty much, I mean, the video pretty much makes it clear that they shouldn't have used deadly force in this
real
situation.
Quick, you just talked to the DuBuse family, what they have to say, or what'd you tell them?
They're really frustrated. I mean, this is very, very upsetting, and the longer it drags out, the harder it is to bear, and they want to honor, Sam. They want to make sure this goes well, and the longer it drags out, that's just hard to do.
And I think outside, I understand there's some frustration going on outside that's reflected out there as well. But still, there's this hope that Cincinnati can keep the peace and keep the patience until we get a real answer.
It's good that the jury's still working. So.
Okay, thanks, Al. Al Gerhardstein, who handled the civil suit against University of Cincinnati for the Sam DuBuse family. So he's got at least the legal perspective to tell us what those questions meant, and that they were already in the jury instructions, and therefore the judge is not going to repeat it. Go back and read your jury instructions. That's okay. Read the jury instructions that I gave you, and then figure it out for yourself. So we're still there's a lot of frustration here. I don't see a lot of people pouring their hearts out to us, but certainly we're going to stand by. There are Tarina Allen is one who's always sort of spoken for her brother, and she did not want to. So we're going to wait for some more people to come out, and then as soon as I have someone, I hope you can see it, and I'll give you a holler, and we'll get.